I think it's about that time. So we'll go ahead and get started. And as folks trickle in, they'll be able to join the meeting. First of all, I want to welcome everyone and thank you for joining us. This webinar is being recorded so that those who aren't able to join us live are still able to watch later. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to join us for our final Better Bus Lunch and Learn. I'm Kelsey Saunders, and I'll be serving as your MC for today's event. If you haven't visited our virtual experience lab, you may know me as the Better Bus Mad Scientist. We're so excited to share our Draft Visionary Network, talk about some key changes in Washington, D.C., and get your questions answered by our experts. This is our final Lunch and Learn webinar. Our Lunch and Learns that focused on Maryland and Virginia were held on April 27th and May 4th. Those recordings are posted online, and this one will also be online. You can visit our website at wmata.com/betterbus for viewing at your leisure. I'd like to start off with some quick notes on how to use the Zoom platform and an introduction of the team you'll hear from today. Then we'll provide an overview of the Better Bus Network Redesign Project and introduce you to the Draft Visionary Network and how it was developed. You get to hear from Christine, some highlights on what the Draft Visionary Network means for Washington, D.C. No matter where you are in our region, you're welcome here today, but we will be highlighting Washington, D.C. specific examples today. Now remember, Maryland and Virginia focused webinar recordings from the last few weeks are available online. And finally, we'll give a quick overview of the ways you can provide your feedback on the Draft Visionary Network, along with some demos of our lab tools. We will have time to answer your questions at the end of our presentation, but we want to be engaged throughout. We want you to be engaged throughout. So we'll have a couple of poll questions for you to answer. And we want to encourage you to use the chat option to ask questions as they come up. Now, we are using Zoom today. As participants in this event, your video is off and you're muted by default. If you have questions, please submit them by using the Q&A functions at any time during the webinar or during our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. We will do our best to respond to questions that come up, but we may not be able to answer all the questions. Lastly, closed captioning is available during this webinar. Now, before we get started, we want to make sure you know who you'll be hearing from. Once again, I'm Kelsey Saunders, your MC for this afternoon. You'll also be hearing from Al Himes, the Director of Metro Office of Bus Service Planning and Scheduling. We are also joined by Christine Marsh, a DC bus service planner on the Metro team. We also have a lot of other Metro project team members here behind the scenes that are here to help answer questions. And don't forget that you can post.
All right, folks, we seem to have lost our mad scientist. But in the meanwhile, we wanted to ask you a question about how often you ride the bus. You should see the pop-up on your screen in a few seconds, and after you make your selection, you will see results updating in real time based on responses from everyone in the lab with us today. So how often do you ride the bus? And this can be Metro Bus, this can be Circulator, this can be any of the buses in our region. All right. So looking at what everybody has said, we got about half of the crowd here who rides a few days a week, but some of you are actually riding every day. We're really happy to hear that. And some of you, we've got to do a little bit more work to get you on the bus a little more often. All right, thank you all. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Al, who's going to provide an overview of the Better Bus Initiative and the Network Redesign Project.
Yeah, thanks, Dahlia. A few years ago, in partnership with stakeholders from across the region, Metro led the Bus Transformation Project. And I think Our network redesign project is an effort that came from that work and is focused on ways to rethink, redesign, and revitalize bus service. The network redesign is part of Metro's larger Better Bus initiative, which includes many ongoing and future efforts to improve bus service, such as facilities modernization, zero emissions, and bus priority. We are so excited about all the things that Better Bus will bring to the region, but we are here to focus on the network redesign project and the draft visionary network. It's an ambitious vision for the bus service the region needs, and we look forward to working with you all to refine the vision and make it a reality. Metro can't do this alone, and we are working collaboratively with each local transit provider in the region. In DC, we are working with the District Department of Transportation and DC Circulator to ensure our plans work to enhance the effectiveness of existing and planned DC Circulator service. In Virginia, we are partnering with Q to evaluate both Metrobus and Q routes in the city of Fairfax and redesign their local bus network. We are also working with other Virginia providers, including Dash, Arlington Transit, Fairfax Connector, and the City of Falls Church. In Maryland, we are also partnering with the bus to evaluate both Metrobus and the bus routes in Prince George's County and redesign their local bus network in addition to ours. We are also working hand in hand with Montgomery County as part of Ride-On's Reimagined, the county's network redesign project. This map illustrates how we are working with each local provider in the region. Metrobus turned 50 years old this year, and through the Better Bus initiative, Metro is taking a fresh and detailed look at our bus service and routes to serve you better. We're developing a fast, frequent, and reliable bus network that is easier to understand. The network redesign is intended to keep up with our evolving region and the people that live here. It's an opportunity to better connect people to where they need to go and to promote equity, inclusiveness, and access to opportunity. It's also an opportunity to create an easy-to-use network no matter where you are so that we can serve our current and future customers effectively. We are at an important stage of the process. We've developed a draft visionary network, but we need to hear from you to make it better. We have lots of opportunities to provide feedback between now and June 5th, and we'll talk in a little bit about all those ways. But before we do, we want to explain a little bit more about the draft visionary network, how we got here, and what it means for you and our whole region. Last fall, we talked to thousands of people across the region as we started this effort. We heard about lots of ways bus can be better, but it's important that we highlight that 45% of customers rated current bus service very good or excellent, and another 42% of respondents noted that service was fair. These responses held true in both our survey and our interactions with customers at bus stops. Comparatively, 50% of people of color and 56% of low-income individuals rated the system very good or excellent, a little higher than the population as a whole. These ratings help solidify that we don't need to change everything about the current bus network, but that we need to focus in on where there is the most critical need and opportunity. The draft visionary network has a lot of features that respond to what we heard from customers. Things like expanded frequent service, an increase in crosstown and cross-county connections, and direct frequent routes connecting key destinations all came through as priorities during our outreach last fall. With your input, we've created the draft visionary network, the network the region needs. By changing bus routes and schedules, this network makes bus travel faster, more frequent, and more reliable for bus customers across the region. The draft visionary network includes an expanded frequent service network and more service all day and all week. We also know that a regional 24-hour network is critical to service key employment and nightlife areas, and the draft network includes several routes that run all day and overnight. The draft visionary network also includes many new crosstown connections and improved connectivity, including new connections from Ivy City to LaFont, Union Station, and Fort Totten. The visionary network also provides 24-hour service along major corridors in the region, including MLK Jr. Avenue, Alabama Avenue, Benning Road, Minnesota Avenue, Georgia Avenue, 14th Street, and Wisconsin Avenue in the district. A couple of important things as we start to talk in more detail about the draft visionary network and as you begin to explore. As I mentioned, we base this work on data, input from bus operators, input from local jurisdictions and bus systems, and what we heard from public feedback last fall. We need your help to refine this draft to make it even better. Our team used current service data, information about destinations and where transit demand will be highest, and your input in crafting the draft visionary network. We're now looking for your input again as we refine the draft visionary network into meeting the region's needs. We started with jurisdictional plans and transit visions, look for opportunities to improve routes and service to focus areas with high frequency of activities, and look for network level enhancements like crossing jurisdictional boundaries to provide service. Implementing the draft visionary network will require additional resources, approximately a 35% increase in funding for bus in the region to meet these critical needs. We have not yet identified who will operate each service. That work is still to come in the next phase. We have also used new temporary bus route numbers. Because the draft visionary network is significantly different than the existing network, we couldn't use the existing route numbers for this conversation. We'll think more about how route numbers are reworked later in this project, but know that these bus route numbers are not the final names. The visionary network will better serve the region and could result in more transit ridership every day. 40 to 45,000 new transit trips every weekday and 30 to 35,000 new trips each weekend day. If those trips happen on transit instead of in a car, over 14,000 metric tons of CO2 emissions from cars could be avoided each year. That amount of pollution that is prevented by people taking transit instead of driving is equivalent to the air pollution that results from 2,800 homes' electricity use for an entire year. Fewer cars on the road reduces traffic congestion and improves air quality, resulting in safer, healthier streets and communities and helping the region achieve its climate goals. The visionary network also would create a bus system that also builds equity in the region and increases access to opportunity for communities of color and low-income communities. As I turn it over to my colleague, Christine, we want to ask you another question. Our draft visionary network includes some inherent trade-offs. So we'd like to know whether when you ride the bus, you prefer high frequency service with transfers or less frequent but direct service.
And we seem to have permanently lost Kelsey this morning, or this afternoon. So I'll be jumping in and taking on parts of his role. I'm Sam Zimbabwe from the Better Bus team. You also heard from Dahlia Levin, and she's also going to help out as we go forward as well. So please, I see some questions coming in through the Q&A. Please keep those coming as you have them, and please answer this poll question. Wait a moment for everybody to get their choices clicked. It looks like a real balance between high frequency service with transfers and less frequent but direct service. And those here today a little bit more prefer that high frequency service with transfers. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Christine Marsh to talk a little bit about highlights from the draft visionary network for Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Al and Sam. Now let's dive a little deeper into some examples of what the draft visionary network would mean for Washington, D.C. Also, don't forget that you can add your questions to the Q&A at any time. Our Q&A session is coming up shortly. A major benefit of the visionary network is that it provides more high-frequency service to more people at more times of the day. That means more weekend service. Across the region, significantly more people will have high-frequency service on the weekends than do now. It also means more midday service, with more than 400,000 people gaining access to high-frequency service in the middle of the day. The visionary network includes an increase in the number of routes with 12-minute or better frequency all day, and a dramatic increase in the number of routes in the medium frequency category, with service frequencies between 12 and 20 minutes all day. In DC, 92% more routes will operate with 12-minute frequencies or better, and 420% more routes will operate with 12 to 20-minute frequencies. This map shows an overview of the existing and proposed service in Washington, D.C. Later in the presentation, the lab team will walk you through ways to explore in detail any area of the visionary network that you are interested in. The visionary network is designed to provide service to people where and when they need it. That means providing all-day service and weekend service across the region so that people can rely on buses to make the trips they need to make every day. One great example is along Bladensburg Road in Northeast DC. This map shows the existing Metro bus service in the corridor, where our B2 route currently provides service between Anacostia Metro Station and Mount Rainier in Maryland. As you can see in the next map, the visionary network will extend this route to the West Hyattsville Metro Station, with high-frequency service every 12 minutes or better all day, every day of the week. The visionary network also includes a regional 24-hour bus network, providing overnight bus service to 1.1 million people across the region, including 523,000 Washington, D.C. residents. These improvements will retain bus service for 99% of residents who currently have service. The visionary network improves access for people, allowing them to reach opportunities and amenities that are essential in their daily lives. Improved frequencies and new direct connections mean that the average resident in the region will be able to access 13,000 more jobs on transit than they can with the existing bus network. One example of this is in Southeast DC. This map shows how today many bus routes that serve Anacostia, Congress Heights, and Bellevue end at the district line, stopping short of jobs, services, and other destinations just across the border in Maryland. In the visionary network, several new, direct, and frequent bus routes would be added, providing new connections between residential neighborhoods and destinations such as grocery stores. These changes mean that more people will be able to access employment, shopping, and entertainment options in the region easily and quickly via transit, even if those trips cross jurisdictional boundaries. Many of these improvements are focused on serving residents of Metro's equity-focused communities, which are the areas in our region that have the highest concentrations of people of color, low-income households, and/or disabled residents. Similar changes around the region are designed to improve access to a range of essential services like grocery stores and hospitals, especially on weekends and during the middle of the day. The visionary network improves the customer experience by providing convenient transit options for more people, for more of the trips people make today. Based on what the public has told us, Convenient trips are trips that reliably take less time. The Visionary Network makes trips faster for current bus customers across the region. In fact, 10% more of the bus trips made today could be made in 30 minutes or less in the Visionary Network. Across the region, we estimate that the Visionary Network would save about 20,000 hours for riders every weekday. The Visionary Network also makes transit a more convenient option for people who don't currently use transit to get around. 20% more of the trips currently made in the region could be made conveniently by transit in this plan. This should encourage more people to use transit for their everyday travel. This map shows the Ivy City area, which is currently served by the Metrobus route D4, which connects Ivy City to Franklin Square, and route E2, which connects Ivy City to Fort Totten. In the draft Visionary Network, Ivy City will be connected by multiple routes to multiple destinations downtown and throughout the region. This includes an extension to popular shopping destinations in Fort Lincoln, such as Costco. Many bus trips will get faster and more convenient for current and potential customers. The Visionary Network takes advantage of regional investments in infrastructure for bus rapid transit and bus prioritization. The Visionary Network uses existing and planned dedicated infrastructure. One example is the existing Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue rush hour bus lane project in Southeast DC. This first map shows existing service along the corridor. The Visionary Network provides 45% more bus service along the corridor to take advantage of this infrastructure. In total, the Visionary Network will have significantly more service operating on facilities with bus priority. This is especially important because taking advantage of these coordinated investments will make bus service faster and more reliable for bus customers, which benefits everyone traveling around our region. We want to ask you one more question before we talk about how you can get engaged in this process. As we mentioned before, bus service decisions always involve trade-offs. For you, would you rather have less frequent service, but service on every street, or more frequent service, but on fewer streets? So as you think about that and answer this question, I will hand things back to Sam.
Hello, Sam. I'm back. Little technical difficulties, but we are back. And we are at question 3. What choice would you make? Less frequent bus service on every street or more frequent bus service on fewer streets? That should be populating shortly from the folks that are on the call today. And we'll have some answers to that in just a few moments. Thank you, Christine. That was very well spoken. And that should populate here in just a few moments. Okay, and there we go. And based on the folks that are on the call today, you would like to see more frequent bus service on fewer streets, 76%. Sounds good, sounds good. Thank you so much, Christine. Again, it was so great to see these explanations of the Visionary Network and what it would mean for people in Washington, D.C. and across our region. I'm going to talk a little bit along the ways and give some feedback on the Visionary Network because we need to hear from you. Now, we're holding events across the region between now and June 5th. I'll talk in more detail about our community workshops and our roadshow pop-ups, but you may also run into our team doing bus ride-alongs, asking bus customers to engage during their trips. And we'll be doing an Ask Me Anything event to answer all your questions on Butterbus. First, for our workshops in Washington, D.C., we have one on Saturday, May 20th at the Turkey Thicket Recreation Center in Brookland. These are immersive experiences where you can talk to our team, do a variety of activities, and even win some prizes. We're also having a number of roadshow pop-up events in Washington, D.C., alongside others across the region. These can sometimes be affected by the weather or other changes, so you can always check the Better Bus website for the latest information. And as always, our website at wmata.com/betterbus is the best place to learn more and see a full listing of our planned events. We also have our online Better Bus Experience Lab. This is an online space for people who want to explore the Visionary Network at their own pace or who may not be able to attend an in-person event. The Experience Lab has a few great tools that we're going to demonstrate in a moment. We also have a map library so that you can explore all elements of the Visionary Network, either the whole network or individual routes. We also have an online survey for you to weigh in on options for future bus service and let us know what the draft network means for you and your trips. And as a thank you for taking the survey, we'll enter your name to win a $50 gift card. We are now going to show you two demonstration videos, one for the Trip Planner tool and the next for the Comment on Your Route tool. The new Trip Planner tool allows you to see what the Draft Visionary Network would mean for the trips you take using starting and ending points that you add to a map of the region.
The new Trip Planner is an illustrative tool that allows you to compare your regular trips on the existing network to what your trips may be like under the new Draft Visionary Network. So let's get started. First, click in the box labeled Start and type the location where you usually start your trip. Next, type your destination in the Destination box. Trips you might take under today's existing network and the Draft Visionary Network are shown on the left side of the screen. The planner also shows the anticipated travel time for the fastest trip under each network. This time includes the total time needed to access the stop or station, waiting for the bus or train, and riding to your destination. You can switch between time periods to see how your trip may change based on the time of day or day of the week you are traveling. You can also click on each possible trip in the panel on the left and use the map on the right to understand how your trip may change under the Draft Visionary Network. Changes in travel time could be due to a change in service frequency or a simpler route that gets you to your destination more quickly. You can also compare the area accessible by transit in the current network and in the Draft Visionary Network using the overlapping red, blue, and purple shapes on the map. The existing network is shown in red, and the Draft Visionary Network is shown in blue. The parts on the map in purple are areas where both networks are transit accessible within a given time period. To change your desired travel time, click and drag the slider showing Area Accessible by Transit and take a look at where the Draft Visionary Network could take you.
Wow, what a great tool. Now here's the second video focused on our Comment on Your Route tool. This tool allows you to see how the proposed routes in the Draft Visionary Network compare to current Metrobus routes, giving you a sense of how your current route might change in the future. You can also provide route-by-route feedback using the interactive comment map to tell us what you like and what you would change about the route. You can see what others in your community think too.
Comment on Your Route is an interactive comment map that allows you to see how the Draft Visionary Network compares to bus routes you currently ride and share your feedback. Let's get started. First, use the route search bar to select and view a map of a current route. A new map loads in the page that shows the existing route plus any draft routes from the Visionary Network that would replace it. In the background, you can see the full Visionary Network and other transit routes that are close by. The Info button describes the legend categories in more detail. You can view the legend on your mobile device by selecting the yellow info circle at the bottom of the map. Explore the map by zooming in and out to different locations and by hovering over different bus routes. If hovering over a segment that is serviced by multiple bus routes, a pop-up will list the different routes along that segment. If hovering over a segment that is served by one route, the other routes will be hidden from view so you can more clearly explore the service provided by that specific route. Next, click the Add Comment button to provide feedback. Select the icon that best describes your feedback and drop it on the map. To add a comment on your mobile device, click the menu bar at the top of the map and select Add Comment. You can tell us why you like or dislike something, or what your need is, and submit it to the project team. You can also view and reply to other people's comments on the map. If you agree with something someone already said, be sure to say so in the reply section. Use the Reset Map View button to show the entire draft network or search for another existing route to provide more route-specific feedback.
Wow. You can give comments and get feedback in real time. That's pretty awesome. But now I'll turn it back to Al to wrap up our presentation.
Yep, thanks, Kelsey. I know we've thrown a lot of information at you all, so we want to conclude the presentation with some next steps. To remind you of the schedule, we're in the public and stakeholder engagement period of phase 2. We still have phase 3 to go as we refine the visionary network based on your feedback, and we'll get into some more details. At the end of phase 3, we will be seeking approval from the Metro Board for the visionary network, and we'll begin making incremental changes to start implementing the new network beginning in 2024. Your input now is critical to help us improve on the draft visionary network. We still plan to make adjustments in where routes go, when service operates, and how often buses will run based on what you tell us. We'll then be able to figure out exactly what steps we need to take to make the visionary network a reality.
Thank you, Al. Thanks again for a great presentation. That concludes the formal presentation today. We do have some time left before we end to answer your questions. If you haven't already, please send in your questions via the Q&A function and we'll dive into them. I also want to remind you that you can always get more information at wmata.com/betterbus, which is the home for all the network redesign information. Now, we'll dive into your questions. Let's see what we have here today. So the first question today is this: what do you plan to do to reduce bunching and therefore unpredictable frequencies on the long routes, as we currently see on the 90 buses through U Street, the 50s on 14th Street, and the S buses on 16th Street?
So as we mentioned, the draft visionary network puts a lot more service in dedicated and prioritized facilities. We also worked to make sure that the routes weren't so long that they couldn't be operated reliably on schedule. And we also considered operations through historically congested areas and designing the network. Together, these types of improvements help buses stick to their schedules, improving reliability and making bus bunching less of a problem for all routes.
Thank you, Al. It looks like we have a couple more questions populating, and we'll go ahead and read question number 2. This one reads: we saw some questions on specific route changes, like changing the western terminus of the X8 to Eastern Market instead of Union Station will push more people toward the X2 and X9 buses, which are already at capacity. How do you plan to address the overcrowding, and how will the former X8 riders impact the X2 and X9?
Yep. So the visionary network is designed to provide service to the community when and where they need it. As routes were recommended and redesigned, capacity was considered and frequencies increased to meet the demand as needed. That being said, our team invites any and all comments on the specific routes, which can be submitted through the public survey and online comments in your route tool available on the project website, wmata.com/betterbus.
Thank you again, Al. Thank you so much for that great response. We have another question populating. So let's go ahead and read that for question number 3. And it goes, we've got a question about whether this proposal takes into account the proposal for free fare Metrobus.
Yep. And the visionary network is designed to focus on connections, frequency, and reliability. It's not dependent on fares as they vary across the region, including the district, and ultimately a decision by the Metro Board of Directors.
Thank you, Al. Let's see what we look like on time to see if we have ability to answer any more questions here. Looks like we have a few more moments. So let's go to question number 4. Okay, let's look in here. There we go. Question number 4. And it reads, when you discuss current routes, does that mean what exists now rather than routes that indicate they were temporarily suspended during COVID? First part of that question. Then it says, my employer has started asking us to come back into the office, and being able to take the bus from Barnaby Woods to Friendship Heights would make it much easier for me. Now, this was previously the E6 line, and I have heard from many people coming in from Maryland to Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and when we say current routes, we're referencing the existing system that is in operation. The E6 has currently been replaced by the M4, and then the draft visionary network is expanded to the 7-day service and connects to more places. These are the types of comments that we want to hear as you review the future networks. We would like to hear if the proposed routes don't meet your needs. As we move into the next phase of the project and revise the visionary network, we will take this into consideration. We have 2 mechanisms online for you to leave your comments: the public survey and the comment on your route tool.
thank you, Al. Got a little bit more time. We're going to go to another question I just populated. This is question number 5, and it reads, is there a way to use the trip planner to show where you can get without transfers? For a variety of reasons, I'm interested in seeing travel time without having to wait 10 to 30 minutes for a bus if the transfer is missed.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a way to eliminate transfers in a trip planner tool. We will think about that option for the next round of engagement.
Thank you again, Al. Looks like we have another question that populated. We'll go ahead and pull that one up also. Now, question number 6. How long, let's go right here, there we go. How long will the Better Bus Visionary Lab be available?
Yeah, so the feedback is open until June 5th. We will then review comments and input to revise the network. We will be back again later in the project to share revised networks with you and gather more input on priorities.
Sounds good, Al, sounds good. We're gonna go into one more question if that's all right. Okay, here we go. Question number 7 has just populated and it reads, there we go. How are you coordinating with DC DDOT on streetscapes and bike lanes? The streets aren't wide enough for everything.
Yeah, Metro and DDOT have a long-standing partnership to prioritize buses on corridors across the city. And the trade-offs between all road users are real, though we believe that bikes, buses, and pedestrians should be the primary road users across the district.
Great answer, Al. Thank you so much again. It looks like, let's see, let's just make sure that nothing else has populated. And it looks like, let's see, don't see any more questions in there. Oh, there we go. Here's another one populated. Great. We got one more, Al. This is question number 8. This says, I saw you mention bus ride-alongs. When are those happening?
Yeah, and I mean those ride-alongs are happening on bus routes all across the region, over the next 6 weeks. And we've basically identified the routes, focusing on our equity focused communities and the places that might see more change in the visionary network, where we're looking to specifically make sure we're reaching those customers, and asking them about how they're taking their normal everyday trips in addition to our Experience Live events. So hopefully we'll come across you randomly in one of your bus trips out there.
That would be awesome. See it on here and then run into us in the field. How cool would that be? It looks like we've got another question here coming up, populating. Great, let's just pull that through. And this is question number 9, okay? And it reads, I saw some questions on funding and how this will work. I have some questions on funding and how this will work with additional resources.
Yeah, so the comments you're providing us this spring will help us scale this visionary network to a more constrained network that meets funding and driver availability. That could be implemented sometime in Metro's fiscal year 2025, which runs from July 2024 to June 2025. However, as many of you know, Metro is facing a significant funding gap, and we are working with our funding partners to figure out how to continue to fund service overall. Funding expanded service is part of that conversation going on.
Really great responses, Al. Thank you so much. Let's see, do we have anything else populating? It looks like, yes, we have a question. We have a question populated. Great, question 10. Okay, pull that through and see. Hopefully everyone is enjoying this. It's a great Q&A. And we'll go back up to question 10. Here we go. Question 10. How have you applied an equity lens to this draft? In particular, please highlight considerations across racial and asset lines.
Yeah, so every metric measures the impacts of the visionary network, not just on the region as a whole, but also specifically for people of color, people of low incomes, and people with disabilities.
There we go. Very cool, very cool. Thank you. That works. All right, do we have any more questions happening here? All right. Let's see. It looks like, just to see, make sure that nothing is coming through. Let's see. Okay. Question 10. Nope, it looks like, I think that is it for questions.
Well, it sounds like there might
another one in there?
be a few more.
Oh, okay.
We're working, this group has a lot of questions, I think, and we're working through to organize the questions and stuff like that. So if everybody can just hang tight for a minute.
Sounds good. Thank you, Al. And there it goes. Question 11 has populated. Okay, great. All right, here we go. Question 11 just came through and it reads, does this route exploration tool include non-WMATA buses?
So the trip planner tool does include all the buses operating in the region, including the bus and ride on in Maryland, DC Circulator in the district, and ART, Fairfax Connector, Dash, and Q in Virginia. So everything you need to see how your new trip would work when you plug all that information in our trip planner tool. And then also, the difference is, the comment on your route tool, that's only including the routes that we've included in the visionary network, which we specifically want your feedback on. So that does not include all the local bus routes that we mentioned. Those that aren't changing, we're not specifically asking for comments on those routes by Dash or Arlington Transit or DC Circulator that aren't proposed to change. But as I mentioned before, we are partnering with the bus and Q to redesign their networks as well. So the Metro bus routes, the bus routes, and Q routes are all part of that comment on your route tool, because there's proposals affecting all three of those systems that we want to hear your feedback.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And where are we at here? All right, so we've gotten another question that has populated. We're up to question number 12 now. All right, let's see once that pulls through. Okay. And it looks like it's completely coming up. Al's been giving some wonderful answers to these, I'm sure. Like you said, Al, there's lots of questions out there, and you've been giving some great responses to those. This is question 12. There we go, question 12. Okay. Gotcha, here we go. All right, so we've gotten a lot of questions about specific routes. While we won't be able to answer them all today, we encourage you to join our Experience Lab live events and dive into your questions, and use the comment tools as we describe.
Yep. And yeah, it looks like we don't have a specific answer to that one, but we just encourage everyone to come out to our events. We have another workshop event coming up later in May in the Brooklyn area, so encourage you to come out to that event, or one of the other events that we're advertising on our website. And happy to sit down and look through our books and maps and take a deep dive into all the stuff we have proposed here in our visionary bus network.
It looks like, Al, we have one more question that populated here, and it pushes us to question 13, which is really cool. Lucky number 13. This question reads, have you engaged with ANCs during this process?
Yep, and we've reached out to all the ANCs to let them know about how they and their constituents can be involved. And also, next week we're hosting an ANC event, and all the ANC commissioners have been invited to that event that we're hosting next week.
Very cool, very cool. Let's see, where are we at with the questions here? Do we have more populating? Let's take a look in our lab bank and see what we've got going on. Let's see, there we are. Yes, we've got more populating, really cool. Okay. And let's see as it pulls through. Oh, this rain is still coming down out here. There we go. All right, there we go. We've got question coming through now. And the question reads, are you planning different sized buses, articulated regular or small buses?
Yep, and that's a great question as well. And while this process is focused on providing service when and where passengers need the service, Metro continues to evaluate where and when different sizes and types of vehicles are most appropriate for different conditions. So we definitely want to make sure that our network designs allow for that moving into the future.
Great, 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 Al. And we've got some more questions running through here. Let's see. Okay. There we go. And we'll take this last question here and wrap up after this, Al. This question reads, how and when will you be incorporating feedback from the survey and comment mechanisms on the website?
Yeah, so the feedback that we're getting now through June 5th will be used in the coming months to revise the visionary network and also develop a more constrained network that can be implemented in the near term. That's why hearing from you is so important to where the network goes next.
Well, thank you, Al. This has been wonderful. It's been a wonderful lunch and learn session, and our final one. I do want to apologize for when it rains, the power comes, and even in our labs, you can't get up and running sometimes, and there's blackouts. But I do want to apologize for having some technical difficulties today. But we were glad you were here to join us in this last lunch and learn. And we want you to make sure to encourage you to go to wamata.com/betterbus to give your input, to engage with us. See us, if you see us out at the ride-alongs, please come up and say hi. And don't forget, we have the workshops coming up and our pop-ups. You can go to wamata.com/betterbus, see where we'll be, and give your input. Stay engaged and stay with us. Talk to you soon. Have a great day, and thanks for being here.